Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to another YouTube live session on the Pinkfresh Studio channel. I'm Kathleen and I'm really happy to see so many people already joining in the chat and leaving some comments. So welcome everyone. Today it is Jody behind the Pinkfresh Studio name. So Jody is going to help me out with any questions you have and, posting links to some things that you might want to check out. And I have a rough idea in mind today what I want to do. But first, let me just quickly check the chat because I see lots of people joining and lots of names I recognize. So it's always fun to see how many people join in almost every week or every week. Thank you for that. So hi, Sue Crease is here, Vicky, Margie, Mariette I saw, Barbara, Brienne, hi Brienne, and so many more. So today I thought I would show you the new Message in a Bottle product suite from the Whispering Views July release. And I thought I would try to do 2 cards in this one YouTube live session. So if you saw our newsletter, I already hinted at what I was going to do. So I thought I would do one that is a bit more on the sort of masculine side and one more feminine, although disclaimer, I personally don't mind giving a floral, pink, purple, whatever glitter card to a guy. So I'm just, referring to these cards that I'm doing today as more masculine, more feminine in the sort of traditional cliche sense, just so it's easier to, kind of label them. But I am all for, doing whatever you like and sending out whatever cards you like. So before I show you what I have planned, just a few quick things. As always, we are giving away 2 $50 gift cards in the live chat. So all you have to do is be active in the chat. Every time you write something is another entry to win. And at the end of the session, Jody is going to randomly pick 2 winners to receive the $50 gift cards to our shop. And then for those of you who can't join us live, for those who are watching on replay, you can also win one of 2 $50 gift cards by just leaving a comment below the video, and we will post the winners in a week from now. Okay, I think that's almost... Oh, one more thing. Those of you who have watched many YouTube lives will know this, but if you have a question, if you could put the word question in caps at the beginning of your text, that would be really helpful for us to spot it in the chat. Okay. All right, so I'm going to flip my camera and show you what I have planned for today. So here's hold on. This is the Message in a Bottle product suite, if you haven't seen it yet. And it's definitely one of my favorites in this new release, because it's just so different, but a lot of fun. And there is a 4x6 clear stamp set, a coordinating press plate, coordinating dies, and a layering stencil set. And I'm so happy that we have press plates again. And the cards I showed you, or you saw in the beginning, so I'm not going to do these cards today. It's just that I just want to give you an idea of what a finished product with this product suite could look like. And I think it's just a lot of fun. So, sorry. And I thought I would show you, apart from, doing a more masculine, more feminine version of this, I also wanted to show you how you can combine this new product suite with some products from past releases that you might have in your stash, or, where you have something similar maybe. So I thought I would combine it with the embroidery hoops from our January release. And then I also grabbed these 2 cover plate dies and press plate. And I think I listed almost all of the products in the video description. Those that I haven't listed yet, I will add after this YouTube live session. So I also grabbed the twist pattern press plate, which I used on this card for some, not sure if you can see, for some dry embossing on the background. Because of this wavy pattern, I thought it would work really well with the message in a bottle. Same with the stitched chain cover plate die. I think this also sort of, gives the illusion of some waves. And then the stitched basket weave cover plate I grabbed because I was going to use the embroidery hoops. And it kind of reminds me of, sort of stitch or maybe some sort of fabric background. Okay, so I did prepare, a few things because, as I said, I want to try and get 2 cards done. So I already have some card bases here, colored card bases, white. We will see what I like best in the end. And I'm going to use the press plate. So I'm gonna turn on my glimmer machine. Love that you're mixing and matching. Love it when you combine old and new. Thank you. Yeah, actually that's one of my favorite things to do. I like mixing and matching. Same when I did scrapbooking. I always like mixing and matching different collections. Sometimes it's fun to just work with one product suite or one collection because it also takes the guesswork out of things and makes things a little easier. But usually I really like to just mix and match. So I'm going to use the press plate. And my idea was, because there are four bottles that you can stamp or hot foil or press at the same time, and then also ink blend at the same time, you end up with 4 ink blended pieces in the end. So I thought I'm going to ink blend all 4, but in the end my idea was to have 1 large embroidery hoop on my card and then 1 bottle per card. So that way I have enough in one go. I will just switch up the colors in between. So, and just a bit of a warning, so my glimmer machine is on the fritz. I need to get a new one, so I'm not sure if I will get a perfect impression or perfect foiling, but we will see. And I'm debating between using the satin champagne and satin pewter hot foil. I'm really loving the pewter lately, but I already used it on these 2 cards, so I think I'm going to switch it up. But it's such a nice color. It's not silver, it's not gold, it's just somewhere in between. So actually it would be perfect for today's idea of feminine masculine, but as I said, I already did it with the other 2 cards, so I think I'm going to do the satin champagne, which is one of my most used foils. So I'm just waiting for my glimmer to heat up. And I have my A2 panel here. I don't need the full size. Okay, I don't think I missed anything. So I will have to do the hot foiling, behind you, or behind the camera, because I don't have that much desk space. So we will see. As I said, if there's an imperfection, it's the glimmer machine and not the plate. So yeah. And it worked fine. It is a little bit close to the edge, but it still works. Okay. I think someone was asking if you have to do all four at the same time. No, you don't. I mean, they are connected, but you could still just do, stamp one of the bottles or one or two, or also just, use a smaller piece of cardstock and smaller piece of foil and just foil one or two of them and then ink blend whatever you need. So you don't have to do all four at the same time. It's just, since I'm already putting in the work, I might as well do all four of them, and that way I have some left for a different card. Okay, so I'm just securing this down with some low-tech tape. And I also already picked my colors. That I'm going to use. And so yeah, gold is classic, definitely. But it's not, it's not that bright gold since it's the satin and it's also champagne. So there is a brighter version and a more yellow version, but I really like this one. Question. Oh, Lisette, do you mean a link for this YouTube live? Then you can just grab the link from your browser window, or there should be, below the video, there is this sort of arrow that says share, and there you can select a link. And we always appreciate when you guys share about our YouTube lives. Helps us, or helps more people find us. Okay, so I'm starting, so it's a 5-piece layering stencil set, and it's super easy to line up because, especially when you have a stamped or a hot foiled outline, so you can just use the outline to line up your stencils. I have to get my head in the way, sorry. And so I thought I would do, as I said, 2 bottles in a more masculine colorway and then 2 in the sort of feminine colorway. And for that I would also do, so I'm going to do the top ones in masculine and the other 2 in feminine, just so that I don't, mix things up and get confused. So I'm starting with sky blue. So this is, all of these openings are for the background and sort of the clear bottle, so to say. Or what could also be kind of the sky. So I'm just doing a little bit of sky blue and blending it in from the top and then fading it out towards the bottom. So the masculine one is going to be a little bit more realistic in the sense of, having blue water, blue sky, and so on. The other one is going to be more of a fantasy color scheme, but, it's paper and it's cards, so you can just do whatever colors you like. So I'm going to use Peach Fuzz first. And I think I still had some ink left on this brush because this is really dark, but it's fine. And if you want to give this a bit of a sort of dimensional look, then you can try to add more shading around the outside edges and have it fade to a lighter shade towards the center. And remember, with dye inks, when they dry, they always lighten up a little bit. And even when they look a little bit splotchy in the beginning, they will even out. Now I'm going in with Cherry Blossom from the bottom, because I want this sort of ombre, could even kind of think of it as a sunset background. And our design team has already shared some ideas with this product suite where they also use non-traditional colors, and they were gorgeous. Hold on, let me just check. Just going to zoom in just a little bit more. I just have to remember to zoom out once I'm done with the ink blending. And maybe just a little bit of seaside for the sky. And you don't have to do this. You can also just stick to one color per layer. You don't have to mix between different colors or switch between different colors. Now, when you wipe off the excess ink, when you do it like this, where you have different colors, make sure that you don't wipe, for example, the blue ink over your light pink peachy bottle. And if you're afraid that you would do this, then just mask whatever you are coloring in a different color. Just mask this part, clean your stencil, and then do the rest. Now, stencil number 2 is for the water, and then here for the scroll. So we're going to do, traditional blue water on the top 2 bottles with seaside. But I'm also going to bring in a little bit of aquamarine to make it a bit more sort of tropical, just to add a little bit of shading. Again, you don't have to do this. But I feel like it also really adds something when you have different shades, especially with something like this with water, where in real life you also have different shades, of course. And then aquamarine on the boat. And if you're ever not sure what a certain part on the stencil is for, then you can always refer to the back of the packaging, where you can see the single elements, and usually they are colored in the same color. So for example, right now I'm using stencil 2, and this is all of the darker blue parts. Sorry. Okay, I hope I didn't miss any questions. Now for the other 2, I think I'm going to go with Cherry Blossom. Again, I'm doing completely fantasy, non-traditional colors for these ones. But why not? Now the next layer, stencil 3, is for different parts of this image. You could color all of these with the same color, just like it is, or it's not the same, as I said. So here on this example, you can see that some of the parts are the corks that are colored with this sort of orangey color, and then you also have the sails and the scroll with a light blue. So this is what I meant with lots of times it's done in the same color, but this is really easy to just do in different colors without having to do any masking. So I'm going to use Warm Buff for the corks, and this one I'm actually going to use for all of the bottles because I feel like it goes with both color schemes. I agree, stencils and blending brushes make things so much easier. I was never into card making because I wasn't good at coloring stamped images with sort of watercolor or Copics or stuff like that. And I wasn't interested in, you know, learning it. So I just never really wanted to do or get into the card making thing. But now that I have blending brushes and stencils, I look like I know what I'm doing. Okay, now for the scroll here I use cherry blossoms, so I'm going to use ballet slipper, a light pink for the rest of the scroll. And just very lightly, so I'm also keeping some of the parts white. So this one is really quick and easy. And let's see, what are we going to do for the sails? Let's do aquamarine on this one. And I'm just making it up as I go. I didn't test this before. I just picked some colors that I knew are, work together, but I didn't test how they would look or what color I would use with which stencil. Let's see. So let's do lemon whip. I want a color. What's going on? There. I want a color that's different from the background, where I use the peach fuzz and cherry blossom. You could also just keep them white. I mean, sails often are white, so. And whenever I'm sort of afraid that I would kind of contaminate a certain area, I just take off the stencil as it is and just clean it on a separate surface. Okay, almost done. Stencil 4 and 5. So this one you can see is for lots of details. So this is for kind of the bottle, not really the bottlenecks, but this sort of, top part of the bottle. So I'm just going to call it bottleneck. And I'm just going to intensify the color that I used for the bottle itself. And I really wanted to bring in the olive. Oh, I have one more stencil left. So I think I'm going to keep olive for the next stencil. And then here I'm going to use peony. So again, I'm just making it up as I go. Because in the end, if I don't like it, I can always just do it again. I mean, maybe not in a YouTube live, but in general. So don't be afraid to just experiment. I'm just using like a regular microfiber cloth. It's dry. I'm just, just wiping it off without anything. And then once I'm done, I will clean my stencils with a spritz of the Ultra Clean stamp cleaner. So if you haven't watched our past YouTube lives, this is going to be released really soon. I'm going to show you this in a bit, in more detail. But other than that, I just wipe my stencils with a dry microfiber cloth. Okay, so I I'm going to do olive because I really like this dark green and the contrast between the blues and this green. But I'm going to keep the large part here white. And then down here, maybe just a little bit of the sun-kissed. And that's it. And I will add the colors I used to the video description after this live is over. And this is what it looks like. And this was so quick and easy to do. And remember, you know, once these colors dry, they will even out a little bit. And they will also dry a little bit. Okay. So you can see that now the cloth isn't really picking up all of the color. So I'm just using, you can either spritz this directly on the stencils or you spritz this on your cloth and then wipe the stencil and everything's gone. And the stem cleaner is fantastic. It cleans every color, and I mean every color. Last week I showed you that it even cleans our red inks and black inks from the stems with almost, or actually no residue. And it just smells like summer vacation. And I said it last week already, but cleaning stencils has become a lot more fun. So that is it already with the ink blending. You know, once you're done with all of your 5 stencils, if you find an area where you feel like you could use a little bit more of a certain color, you can always go back and, you know, go back to stencil 1 or whatever and add more. Definitely an option. And now we can use the coordinating die. And I'm just going to tape that down with some low-tech tape. And I just love ink blending on hot foiled images because the hot foil or the foil acts as sort of a resist, so it doesn't muddle up the foil. It's always shiny. So let me just die cut that real quick. And there you go. And you can see, even though I foiled or I stenciled this close to the edge, it's still a perfect die cut. And let me just try, hold on. First of all, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And let me try to turn on. Okay, but I'm done with the ink blending, so I can remove this. Let me know if this is better or if you don't like it. It's just that, you know, it's evening here and today is a really dark, gray, gloomy day, so I'm not sure what's better. No lights and more natural light, like color, or this. Let me know. Okay, so I can put the die away. And I already did, as I said, I already did a little bit of prep work. So I have some blank die cuts for each bottle already done because I might want to layer some of them up for a bit more sturdiness. Wow, I'm having some troubles today. And I also have some sentiments already foiled, but these I have left from when I made my other cards. So this one, hold on, where's the stamp set? This. So the sentiments in this one are drifting by to say hello. Our friendship is unsinkable. Those two have a coordinating press plate and die. And then in a sea of people, you are my favorite. And the two with the die and press plate I already did, and I also stacked up. And fun fact, I know I mentioned this last time when Carissa was using, I think, one of the sentiments, but I'm just so happy about it that I have to say it again. The sentiments were my I'm looking for words today. So I came up with these sentiments when we were like Inna designed the product suite, but sometimes we just brainstorm, you know, what sentiments could go with a product suite, and these were my contributions, and I was so happy to see that they made it. I buy cheap card to make the stacking bits. Yes, so for my blank die cuts that I use to stack up, these are always just like scrap cardstock. So I have like a whole stack of, you know, things where you can see I cut pieces off, but it's still enough to cut a blank layer for a sentiment, for example. So this is why I always keep these things here. I never use my good hammermill cardstock for my stacking layers. Okay. The only downside to this light is that it's kind of grilling me. It's really hot. Okay, now I told you that I wanted to combine this product suite with the embroidery hoop die. So this is a 3-piece die. You get one large hoop, one smaller hoop, and then one die for two sort of pins that would connect, you know, this sort of the rings of the embroidery hoop. And I already went ahead and die cut a few of them and stacked them up because I just wanted to save some time and didn't want to make you watch me die cut for 10 minutes or so. So I die cut, I think here I stacked 3 pieces, here I stacked 2 die cuts, and I have one die cut from sort of satin silver cardstock. And I thought I would use this maybe with the more masculine version. And I also went ahead and die cut the stitched basket weave from some white cardstock. And here you can see, when I lay this on top, I think it looks like it could be some sort of stitching, cross-stitch fabric or whatever. So I think it really works. And then the idea was to have one of the messages in a bottle kind of stacked up, and then one sentiment. But in general, the idea for the cards is more on the clean and simple side. Okay, I just checked if I missed any comments. So I think, and I want to do 2 different versions. So one of the hoops I will back with this die cut piece. And then I also went ahead and dry embossed this piece of white cardstock I had left with the twist pattern, like this. So it's on the side. And I thought I could use this for this sort of wavy pattern, maybe. So that was my rough idea. So I think I'm going to go ahead and first of all stack up these, because I think the silver frame is going to look nice with this, even though I used champagne foil. I think it still looks nice. Just have to make sure I put it on the correct one. And I'm using our liquid adhesive. Because sometimes, so with some pieces I use foam adhesive to stack things up or to add more dimension, but sometimes adding several die cuts on top of each other just gives a whole different look and much more sort of sturdiness, and I don't know, it just looks a bit nicer. Maybe I shouldn't have. See, I'm always a bit messy with liquid adhesive, but that's on me. That's not the adhesive, that's just me. So I thought maybe something like this, and then we could, you know, stack up these bottles. Laura's asking, does that glue give you time to fix it before it dries and won't move? Yes. So this is one of the reasons why I like to use liquid adhesive when stacking pieces like this up, where, you know, placement really matters, because it does give you time to wiggle things around a little bit. Not, you know, not endless amounts of time, but still a good amount of time. Now for this one, since it's such a nice large area, I'm just going to use my tape runner, because these ones are fairly easy to line up. And I think I saw Andrea from our design team, if I'm not mistaken, use some of these bottles as vases for flowers, which I thought was a really cool idea too. So you could just, you know, die cut these and don't do, you know, don't add any ink blending or whatever, just have these pieces. You could maybe die cut them from colored cardstock or just add a little bit of ink blending to the bottle itself. And then you could just add some florals so it looks like a vase. I thought that was a really cool idea. So I think I'm going to use this bottle. Yeah. And then maybe something like this. I think I saw some people talking about the upcoming August card making event, the Create and Connect event. So I would love to see or to read who of you signed up for that. I can't wait. Today I finished writing the instructions for my make and take cards. And I'm really excited about how these turned out. There are a few spots left, I think about 50. 50 spots are left, so if you were thinking about joining us for this event, make sure to sign up before they are gone. So I'm just going to let it dry for a moment. And then this one, before I adhere this, I think I might want to add, or maybe I could even add both of these. But I might want to change the color of the frame. So I think I'm going to do a little bit of ink blending in Cherry Blossom on top. So who signed up? Barb signed up. Mariette, Lucy, Joanne, Donna. So nice to see so many people returning. I know some of you already joined us last time. And I can't wait. I mean, I already saw all of the projects, of course, because I'm working behind the scenes as well. But yeah, I'm really excited. I think the projects of the other instructors are fabulous. I'm excited about my projects. Where do I sign up? So if you go to our website under events, or even I think the first or second sort of header banner on our homepage leads you to the Create and Connect card making event. It's called Techniques for Card Makers. And I think we're going to have a fun time. And I think I saw someone say that they can't join live. Although, of course, it's always fun to join the classes live and just, interact in the chat like you're doing right now. You can always watch the replays. You can make these or take these classes whenever you have time, whenever it fits your schedule. Because don't forget, the price of the event is less than you would pay for just the products. So the education, the classes, the make and takes, all of this is free with the purchase of the event kit. And as for future Create and Connect events, the next one after August, we already locked in that date, and it's going to be October. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jody. I think October 11 and 12, and it's a holiday card making event. So, yeah, that one's going to be fun too. So for this one, I'm just trying to adhere this so that the pattern behind it is straight, because otherwise that would drive me crazy if those lines were sort of crooked. The event is a virtual card making event, so you can join from wherever you live. I mean, I live in Germany. I'm doing my classes from here. Annette, one of the other instructors, lives in Hungary. Who else? Jana lives in Ukraine. No, hold on. Jana is not joining us this time. But she did in the past already. So yeah, we have, and then the participants, we have people join from all over the world. We have people from Australia, Europe, South America, and so on. So I'm just trimming off the excess. And so I can already adhere this one. And I think I will even add more foam adhesive, but still it adds, having these extra layers still adds a little bit of sturdiness to the die cut. So yeah, the holiday card making event, as I said, is going to be October. And I've already seen a product designed for that one, so it's going to be fun, of course, but registration isn't open yet. Registration for the holiday card making event will open sometime after our next, so the August event is done. So you have some time to sort of prepare yourself for that. I'm leaving some space here that I can fill with maybe some gems or whatever. And then this one, hold on. I think I will add both of the bottles. And then for the blue one, for the blue sentiment, I actually have a shadow layer die cut from navy glitter cardstock that I could use. I'm not sure yet. Are samples to see for the Create class. So we already shared sneak peeks for some of the class projects for the upcoming event. So if you go to the event page, the product page on our website, you can see 5 card sneaks already. And as for the products, I did a YouTube live unboxing a few weeks ago. So when you look in our channel at YouTube live replays, you can find that there, and you can see all of the products that are included in the event kit. So I thought maybe for this one I could do a navy card base, which for me is a rare thing. I usually do white card bases. This one looks okay. This one also looks kind of fun. Nope. Or this cornflower, no. So either this one or the navy. So Fedugina, I'm not sure what you mean with that such international team doesn't make something for EU. So maybe you could explain that a little bit more. Because everyone can join from anywhere. And yeah. So you also have these little pins for the embroidery hoop. So before I adhere that one, the hoop down, I want to make sure that I add this little guy. It's just, you know, it's a little detail, but I think it adds something, and it repeats the color of the foil. And same for the other one before I forget. And you can see here on the back that this was also a scrap piece of paper where I tested the stamp. So, but since no one will ever know, you know, use those scraps. Don't throw them away. Okay. Laurie is asking how versatile are the holiday products for the holiday event. So it is a holiday event. It is sort of, you know, themed around Christmas time. But I think, hold on. I mean, it's in October, so it's not for Easter or anything, you know. But we will start sneak peeking once we get closer to the date, and we will. I'm not saying we will or we won't. I might get in trouble, but I think we might also show the products again before the event, but that one is up to Kinnery. I'm not going to say anything that could get me in trouble. So this is, you know, you could go and add lots more details to this, but I thought I wanted to keep it sort of clean and simple-ish for these cards. So this is why I'm not adding any more details. One thing I did pull out, but I forgot to be honest, is the stencils for the new Tranquil Water Lilies product suite. They have these two stencils that have this sort of water surface pond design. So these go really well with the message in a bottle. And I used it here, for example, behind this die cut. So you can see it adds this little water effect. So the upcoming event, I think it's 279. I'm not completely sure right now. Hold on. Where did I put my scissors? There. I hope I didn't miss any questions. I feel like I saw a question. 274. Thank you, Jody. I feel like I missed the question. So if I did, and if Jody didn't reply, then just ask again. So I am going to add foam adhesive behind this because I just love dimension. You could also add this on a larger card base. So this is A2 size. You could go larger and do like, what's a larger US card size? A7? Something like this, I think. So I definitely want to use our friendship is unsinkable. I'm debating whether I want to use the navy glitter shadow layer or not, because I already have the silver in the frame, I have the gold in this pin and the foil, so I'm not completely sure. Or if I want to do, or if I want to repeat this sort of champagne gold color, which I think I want to. So I'm just quickly cutting the Our Friendship is Unsinkable from our champagne glitter cardstock, because I think it will make it pop a little bit against the navy background. And I will try my best to get both cards done in time, but I might need a minute or two more. So yeah, this would definitely also look nice on a square card base. Huh, I didn't even check if I liked champagne. We are just going with it. But I think I will. Yes, I do like it. So you can either put it, you know, on top of the hoop or below. I think for below it's not enough space. I would have liked a larger card base. But since I have this one already pre-cut, I'm going to use it, so I will just add a little bit of foam adhesive behind it and add it to the hoop. You know I like dimension. I'm not afraid of adding even more foam adhesive, but you could also just add this directly to the hoop without any more foam in between. So this is definitely, you know, up to whatever you prefer. Okay, and just, you know, imagine a little more, maybe clear drops or something around here, and that's almost it. This light is killing me. And I'm going to put this to the side, and you know what? When I watch Carissa, for example, do her YouTube lives, she's always so organized. Her desk is always nice and tidy. Mine is a complete disaster zone. And I start with the best of intentions, and then I still struggle. So what I thought I would do with the more feminine version, I have some floral die cuts left from past card making sessions. And I thought maybe I could use some of these and use them up this way and add a little bit more, you know, a softer touch to this design. I think this one would have looked nice if it was a bit staggered, but the hoop is not large enough, so I might do just one like this, one like that. And this card base is a little bit larger because this was a pre-cut base that I bought here in Germany, and we also have different card sizes than the US. So I would have to measure, but this is 4 1/4 by 6 inches. So it's taller and it gives you a bit more room for a sentiment underneath. So first of all, I'm going to adhere some thick foam adhesive. yours is clean compared to mine. Not really. If you knew what was outside of camera view, it's, yeah, there's stuff everywhere. Tools flying everywhere and just stacks of cardstock and dies and stamps and I don't know what else. Hold on, don't need that much. Okay, when I add adhesive to my die cut pieces and adhere them to cards, I always tell you not to add adhesive all the way to the edge so that you still have some space to tuck things underneath. So this is why I usually don't add adhesive around the outside edges. Rarely, at least, I should say. With the hoop die, is there a die that imprints the holes like the cloth? No. So for this one, there's only the outside hoop, because this was actually designed. Hold on, can I find the packaging? Here. So this was from our January release, and you can see this one was designed to go with either the embroidered blooms, which also had these sort of embroidered stitches or etched details, and then with the Four Seasons product suite that was designed, and there were dies and stencils to go with it. So you can check the website for a Four Seasons set and you will see what I mean. Okay, now I have these white heat embossed vellum flowers, which I think would go perfectly with this because they add a little bit of something without being too much. You know, they don't add another color, they don't add like a really white space. I don't know. I'm really struggling today. So this one, for example, in my opinion, is a bit too prominent. So I'm thinking of using some of these and just tucking them behind. And this is also where you can make use of some pieces that are a little bit imperfect. You can see here this one didn't heat emboss great. I don't know, I messed up the stamping or whatever, but I can still use this and just tuck it behind the frame and no one will know. And this is exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to add, and these were from the Flowers for the Soul product suite. So there was a washi, so these are the washi tape flowers, and there's also coordinating stamp, die and stencil set. And this is what I used to create these. And I realized, you know, having flowers with these messages in a bottle maybe doesn't make sense to everyone, but it looks nice to me, so I'm going to use it. Poor Kathleen and her words today. Yes, I don't know what's going on today. It's not my best day when it comes to speaking English. So maybe something like this. And then so give me, I think I should be done in about 3 minutes because I do want to add some clear drops or glitter drops or something to finish both cards off. I don't want to keep them just like that. And for this one, I think I'm actually going to, because here I have enough space to put it on the card, so I think I should put it on the card directly. Someone said flowers always work for me. Right, exactly. So I also feel like some tucked in flowers, you can never really go wrong with that. And I'm just adding the liquid adhesive to these pieces where they will be hidden behind the embroidery hoop. So I'm not adding any adhesive on the parts that show on the card. And I have this one left. This one also looks nice. But oh, no. Okay. I'm getting distracted by all the pretty floral die cut pieces I have left. How do you keep the glue not showing? Well, so when you work with vellum, the glue will always show a little bit, but this is why you just need to be a little bit careful with the placement of your adhesive. So just put the adhesive on your vellum piece, for example, where you know it will be hidden behind something else, or just use a drop of adhesive behind maybe a heat embossed line where it will be hidden. Okay, so I wanted to put it on the card. Oh man. Good thing I used the super strong adhesive this time, which I rarely use. Yeah, no, it's going on the card, on the embroidery hoop. There's no taking it off without ripping it apart. Oh well. Okay. So I have these two. And I'm just quickly grabbing some clear drops and things like that. So yeah, you could definitely add some greenery pieces. For example, like this. Here I have some leaves. Actually, that looks really nice. I might do that after the live session. I'm not going to make you wait any longer. I will just add some clear drops or maybe metallic drops. Oh, too many choices. Yeah, I could definitely cut part of this card off to make it A2 size. I might do that actually, but just not right now. I mean, you will see in the final photos what I end up doing. So, yeah. So for this one, I am going to use some gold metallic pearls. You could use any of the colors that you have in your ink blending and just repeat those colors. And do like glitter drops, for example, or clear drops in different colors. You know, lots of different options. I don't want to add too many, maybe just one more. And that's it. So I might cut off a sliver here so I have an A2 card. And then for this one, I will see if I have some left over from these leaves that I can add. And then some, not the gold pearls. I always gravitate towards the same colors, so I'm trying to push myself to use colors that, you know, I still have a lot of. And I realize, you know, we try to do a more masculine card, and some people might not want to do glitter or sparkle for masculine cards, but yeah, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to use the Ombre Glitter Drops Enchanted Forest because they are actually a mix of green and blue. You have some drops that are just sort of blue and silver. You have some that are with a little bit green, and I have this olive tone on my boat, so I feel like it works. But you could also look for some that only have the blue and silver. I need one more with the green, and we're done. Okay. Okay, so to be honest, if I had more time, I would probably spend even more time on each card and come up with lots of more ideas what to do, or maybe add some ink blending on these pieces that I backed the embroidery hoops with or whatever. But I wanted to show you that you can create two very different cards with almost the same products in not too much time. So I see Jody picked some winners. Hold on, let me show you these up close for another second. And then I will flip my camera and actually turn off the light. Whew. Okay, so the winners are Mariette Yntema and Wini Bell. Congratulations, you are today's $50 gift card winners. Email customer service at pinkfreshstudio.com to claim your prize, and then have fun shopping. Again, if you're watching the replay, just remember to leave a comment on the video below to be entered to win one of the other two $50 gift cards. And if you enjoyed this video, we would love it if you give us a thumbs up. If you don't already follow us, please subscribe. And we always love to hear feedback. So if you have some ideas or wishes what you would like to see in future YouTube live sessions, please always let us know. It really helps when it comes to planning these YouTube live sessions. And I would love to hear, what you prefer. Do you want to see more old products being used? Do you like this mix and match thing? Do you have certain themes you would like to see? All of these things. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Jody, for moderating for me. And I hope you all have a fantastic day. I'm just trying to remember if there was anything else I needed to mention. And I think next week it's going to be Carissa back with you. So thank you so much, everyone, and have a great day. Bye.